beyond. Go beyond. Go beyond the game.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dingus Hammer.
Woo! Dingus Hammer!
So we came back from the tournament, the Red River Rumble, and we have some games to talk about from over there, right?
But first, speaking of tournaments, Joff, before we get into the Red River Rumble,
Yes.
we want to talk about the Bighorn GT, right? It'll have everything, okay? Denver's hottest club is Bighorn GT. It has a pool, it has an open bar, has
Me not playing.
Joff's not playing. Big feature tournament.
Yes,
You
I'm a
don't have to
TO,
play
so
Joff.
yes, don't make me play. Just come over here. Make sure that there is
However,
somebody else between me and you.
if you expect a coherent response on a rules dispute, then you're shit out of luck.
You're doomed. Yes, you better have your call to a friend ready.
Better learn Joff Hammer. It's way different from normal ninth age. It'll be in Golden in the first weekend of June, right? The June
Yes.
June 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th, yes, 5 rounds. Classic Dingus. Everybody is gonna get extra miniature when they arrive, and there are some cool rules about how it's gonna work in the rules pack, so make sure to look at that. Lists
check it
are
out,
due
yeah.
in May, I think May 27th, I believe, just like a week before the tournament.
It's on new recruit.
Hell, yeah, everything is gonna be. I'm gonna try to have everything mobile. Like the least paper I have to print, the better.
Yeah. And also there'll be a lot of things you can smoke that aren't cigarettes. Well, well, it's weed. It's weed. Nothing weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing too
yeah,
weird.
yeah, nothing too weird if you want, because we're in Denver. Hey, let's go. And then also, if anyone needs like restaurant recommendations, stuff like that, I'll make sure I'll hook y'all up on the really good food spots, because I'm a big foodie myself. So,
Yeah, maybe you should also find like Airbnb because we got few people coming in that are looking for a place to stay. So maybe you
yeah,
should get on
if you
that.
guys need help looking for Airbnb and like a group, you can like message me on Discord or Facebook, whatever, and I'll absolutely help with that, because Airbnb might be intimidating, but we use it actually basically all the time. We're not
Oh,
sponsored. We just think it's a great way to go to tournaments for cheaper than a hotel normally.
it was
So
amazing.
yeah,
It's always
it's
been
usually
amazing.
and
Way better
I
than
like
sitting in a hotel.
yeah, 'cause, like we usually get full houses, even if it's just two. I remember with the Hogfest one year and had this like big old historic apartment, and it's nice too for a tournament, because then sometimes, say you invite a buddy over and he gets fucking hammered and needs to sleep in like, it's an option. So reach out if you need help with, and or literally with any questions about any logistics, whatever. We'll try to help you have a easy time as possible and as delicious time as possible, honestly. Um, and yeah, let's talk about Red River Rumble. Amazing tournament. We fucking drove there. We caravan there with our tournament saver Dennis Lavalley.
Yes.
Lavalier.
Lavalier.
My apologies, Dennis, if you're watching.
And our
Had a
amazing dad who drove over there for most of the way over
yes,
there and on the way back.
Ryan Beats, yes, and our coach, my wonderful girlfriend Cammy, who provided us with encouragement and drinks and so many laps, honestly, the
Oh
whole trip.
yes, yes. She was amazing. Our coach. Shots?
Shots, yeah, and we drove there
Modelos?
for 10 hours. Then, God, it was super fun. There was actually some pretty good food in Oklahoma City, and I'm like, God damn, if there's one thing we gotta learn from Oklahoma, it's that they have 24/7 store slash dispensaries. I'm like, wow, this is peak human innovation. This is amazing.
This is the way.
This is peak degeneracy. And the first night, Jeff, what did we eat? We ate Korean barbecue, and it was
Korean
hilarious
barbecue,
because
yes, because somebody had to
you
cook
can
it.
eat. Yeah, we didn't realize that you had to cook all the food, so we just show up and then they fucking bring these plates of meats out. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess
Okay,
we're cooking.
I guess I'm cooking, yes, because it was you and Ryan who were cooking.
Yeah,
And the rest was like, beep boop, what do you do? There is something hot over here, there is a bunch of meat, we don't know what to do.
yeah. And then we got pretty proper hammered, right, at the
Oh yes,
the
on Friday,
Airbnb. Joff,
yes.
say Joff got fucking wasted for Joffy. Joff normally fucking drinks like a beer or two when he's getting loose as the goose, and he was drinking like 4 or 5 every night. I was like, holy shit, where's my old man that fucking can only drink a beer and then goes to bed? Like, what the hell?
I mean, we had a cool crowd, we had a cool Airbnb, and we had a bunch of beers. So yeah, I was just having a good time. I didn't even get such a
Yeah.
hangover. It was
No,
amazing.
no.
I thought I would be dead
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah, honestly, I was actually surprised we were more hungover. The real battle was the drive back.
Oh yes, because we stayed until Monday so we could rest before the driving back, and then we were drinking and talking about
Till,
our
like
tournament
4 in the morning.
exactly until 4
Absolutely
a.m.
degenerate. Oh, yeah, we'll get an 18 pack of Modelo and blah 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 and finish it through all Modelo
Okay,
and
wait a
then
second, wait a
2
second.
6 packs.
I'm gonna have to reboot because you're cutting off. All right, short technical break. We're back. Hopefully Pablo's sound is gonna be better.
Woohoo!
So we have no idea what we are talking about, right? Unless you do. Do you have an idea what we're talking about? We're talking about staying in Airbnb, I think, right? So
Oh, are you gonna merge the things?
yeah, I'm gonna match the things. So
Okay, cool.
basically, we're gonna go through what happened at the tournament, right? So
Yeah, our games. Yep.
just quick reminder: Pablo was playing Orcs and Goblins. You can see his list right now. Let me
Day one,
enlarge it.
we got team breakfast. We went to the venue. We're getting ready, baby. Let's go. We're fucking gaming. We're rocking up.
And then this is my list that I played with. So
Both gun lines, both fun and interactive.
yes. So I'll start probably with my matchup. I was playing Nick Barr. Pretty cool guy.
One of the Nash villains. The boys love the Nash villains. David
Yes.
Sissabro too. The best sports.
So he was running the Double Exalted Herald, the Feldrake, and Chosen Knights. Those were the big pieces on the board. So in our game, I was able to choose sides. So it was breakthrough also. It was breakthrough and standard deployment. So I chose bottom side because I thought that he will deploy first and I'll have a heal for counter deploying. I also thought that I'll make ruins dangerous terrain, so I was just trying to make it hard for him. But what I didn't expect was that he would let me deploy first. So I was surprised with that. I thought that he would rush me. Instead, he let me deploy first. So I deployed all out. It was like, well, cool. I have a hill and I can deploy first. So I deployed mainly around the hill. I put my tribesmen on the left side. I put a cannon on the left side and one unit of scraplings. And the rest was deployed on the right. I vanguarded and Scout and vanguarded make the ruins DT. And he deployed both Exalted Heralds and the Ancestor inside the forest, so I don't get +1 to hit with my cannon. And then he deployed one unit of warriors in the center and other unit on the left side.
What aspects did you take on the Exalted?
Both he took both hard target. I don't remember also what other things he took, but both were pretty much hard target. He was trying to make them survive.
Attaboy.
He of course had a comet, and he had a grave cause. So whoever knows probably understands what aspects those were. I don't. So basically, and he put the Chosen Knights on the right side of the forest, right in front of my hill and bombardiers and all the artillery park over there. So basically, I vanguarded and scouted all the way to the ruins, and I was baiting his warrior knights to charge into double DTs, and I was able to put like 4 wounds from a cannon shot into his ancestor Feldrak, and then that was pretty much it. Because my actually my magic deleted his unit of flayers. That was big. So on his turn, he pushed up. He was like, well, screw it. I have like 2 wounds left on the ancestor, so he pushed up, but carefully, and he charged the scraplings in the ruins, which I was surprised with. I was like, damn, you ain't scared of DTs, failing them DTs with the knights. So I stayed there because I was like, well, if I have the knights in the ruins, they will not be able to pursue, or if they pursue, they take another set of DTs, third set of DTs, pretty nice. And if not, then they're gonna whatever they will have to do for the rest of the remainder of the game, they'll have to deal with the ruins. And pretty much for the next 2 turns, they were spinning around. Now he used left side in our game to push up, and at certain points he pushed out too far in his first turn with the flares. He just went full 20 inches, and he ended up between my tribesmen over here and the scraplings over there. So I charged him with tribesmen. He fled, and he was like, "Oh fuck!" No, sorry, I charged him with scraplings first. He stood because it was flank charge, and it was like, well, I'll just kill the scraplings. And then I charged him with the tribesman. He fled. He ended up like 5 inches in front of the tribesman. He was like, oh fuck. So the tribesman caught him. Tribesman went snake eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, scraplings caught him. The tribesman went like exactly 1 inch forward, like, eh. And that was it.
It's like my love life. What?
What?
What? No way.
No, nobody heard anything. We're not streaming.
Nothing.
Nothing. And pretty much the only thing that I was able to do in this turn, other than that, was kill his ancestor. And in his magic phase, he went like a big Grayskull, and I didn't stop that because I wanted to stop Comet. Also, he rolled pretty hot, even though I had like MR2, he rolled like 16, so 14 to dispel. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So he killed 2 of my bruisers over here. But basically, the game revolved around him trying to push the chosen knights on the right flank. He pushed 2 of the exalted herald around the ruin, and by the impassable over here. And then he had the warrior knights who were struggling to make anything useful around the ruin. And on his second turn, he was able to cast the comet. The comet never didn't fall down for like 5 turns. So by the time that the comet fell down, I was already on my second turn of chaffing the chosen knights. Basically, he failed the charge on the 10 plus into the cannon. I failed the charge on a 7 plus into his chosen knights.
With what?
With my big brick, my whole Death Star.
You suck.
Of course. Come on.
You suck. Loser.
L on the forehead. I mean, come on. You know that my Death Star doesn't get places.
I know. No, no. You use the Poppy army, you get the Poppy dice and the Poppy charges, dude. That's the thing.
Yes, and you got James dices.
I know. I played ONG one time. It was like, James?
You're a
James?
cripple!
The spirit of James Silva. What's going on?
3 dice, 3 5s. 3 dice, 3 6s. Easy way of life. So yeah, when his chosen knights were able to charge my cannon, I used the bombardiers and just marched forward 12 inches away from his chosen, away from his comet, and towards the secondary objective. And at the same turn, I was able to charge the warrior knights, who got out of the ruin finally with 2 of them alive between my attributes that I was casting at them and the catapults. No, attributes I was casting at the herald. The catapults actually did a little bit of work on the warrior knights. So 2 of them got out of the ruin just in time to get charged by the catapult and die. And on the left side, he finally was able to charge my cannon, and I fled. So basically, when he charged with his barbarian to my cannon, the cannon fled over the ruin, took 3 wounds, ended up by the comet. But what it allowed me to do is his barbarian horseman had to run towards my tribesmen. So on my turn, my tribesmen just charged, and he fled. No, he couldn't flee with the barbarians because he had warrior knights warriors pushing the left flank. So he stood. Tribesmen got in, mapped the knights, and I pivoted to see the warriors just in case they got secondary objective. He made a mistake then to put his Exalted Herald behind the ruin, but was close to my bunker. I needed a 5 or a 6 on 3 dice to charge in there. I got that, so after that I overran into his secondary objective with 2 units. I was able to chip wounds and finally shot off the second Exalted Herald. So at the end of the game, he made a mistake because he killed my one of my war machines, the cannon with the Chosen Knights, and then kept chopping him with the other war machines. And he ate two more war machines, and then he turned around and tried to go after my second unit of bombardiers and second catapult in the center of the map. So instead of taking secondary objective, he went towards towards points, and that pretty much allowed me to have two scoring units in his deployment zone, and he ended up with Chosen Knights too far away into the center, so he gave up on even trying to push the center warriors units to my deployment zone, which I think was a big mistake because if he would just pivot his Chosen Knights and stay inside my deployment zone and push the warriors from the center, which he definitely was able to do, he would tie secondary with me. But as it was 17-3 for me.
Damn, Duffy, damn. Strong start. Strong
Oh
start.
yeah, strong start. Talk to me about your start. Which one was it? Is it this one with the double
Um,
forest, double wall?
yes, yes. This is it. The building was a little bit bigger. I played against Chris MacArthur. Hold on, I got on. Hold on,
Wait a second.
hold
Wait
on,
a
my note.
second.
What? What?
Yeah, you look at your notes and let me gasp at something. There is no impossible
There
on
is,
this map.
but it
Okay.
was a lot bigger. So see the house?
Okay. So the house was
So
impossible.
yeah,
All right.
it was probably like if you doubled the size, like just double the dimensions, it was probably like that big. So it was probably like kind of as big. Like the ruins would be smaller, and the house would be probably a little smaller than the current ruins are now.
Ah,
Yeah,
I think that this tournament should be called Red Impossible Rumble.
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought they
No,
actually had a really good tournament overall.
I think well, in all of my games, Impossible played key role.
Yeah, but that's because you play two cannons, you bingo. You play a horrible shooting list. That's why Impassable is always gonna play a key role.
I don't know. I
Um,
just danced around the Impossibles on all my games.
yeah. Um, so I played against Chris, who's a local guy. He lives in Tulsa, I believe, if I remember correctly. He's not going to Bighorn, unfortunately, because the lucky guy is going to Disney World with the family. He's a wholesome family man. Um, and yeah, Rockta, really nice dude. I pick sides, so I won the role to pick sides, and then he dropped for first. And then, so he basically deployed from left to right. He played the two units of Pistoliers on the left, which I was actually very surprised by. We talked after the game. I told him I thought this was a mistake because it basically meant that I could put my Manglers on the far right. And having such other limited shooting, it was going to be hard for him to deal with him in a very cost effective way. So he had those two dudes, and then sort of on either side of the field, on the back end. So like one to the left, one to the right, he had the rocket battery, so they have pretty good coverage of most of the map. And on the very front of the field, he had his unit of crossbows with the wizard, and then to like sort of if you take a little gap of to the right to the field of where the war machine is, he placed like a unit of 20 guys, yep, right there, and then his unit of Imperial Guard next to them, and then behind the building he put like kind of not behind, like a little behind, a little adjacent. He put the wizard on a cart, and then on the other side of the building, he had a big unit of like the guys with halberds with the BSB, and then he had his two detachments to the right. Oh, also on the left. Sorry, I'm missing one thing. He had two pistoliers, and then in front of his war machine, he had a unit of 8 knights. Um, and then I dropped to basically I counter deployed so that he's only gonna have like one rocket battery can shoot at well, so one of my war machines can be shot by two of his rocket batteries, but everything else was out of range. So I had from my left to right, I had sort of in the almost far corner, in the bottom left, I had a rock lava, the yeah, the stone thrower thing. Then in front of them, I had the 10 Ed Bashers, and then I kind of put my crossbows sort of partially in the field, um, just
Field?
kind of that, or it's the forest diagonal, sort of aiming towards
Center?
where I, yeah, like just like sort of covering that whole middle part. Um, and then over there, I sort of in that little gap in between the forests, I put my big block of 25 orcs with my general and my wizard master, and then I put my BSB unit kind of like right behind them, and then sort of to the right of them, next to the forest, like in the very bottom part. So more to the right, to the second forest, and then down to the right in the middle, I put my second rock lava, and then to the right of that, sort of, I put oh, actually, sorry, in the very front part of the forest, like touching the forest there. Yep, I put my unit of night goblins. Um, and then I had a gargantula, kind of like sort of next to the field, and I had a git launcher as well. And the gargantula, unfortunately, just because of the map, it was tough to hide, so I just let it be targeted by both rocket launchers. And then both my manglers were next to the on like behind, because the hill was kind of diagonal, so I had them up like sort of staggered behind the hill, so he couldn't shoot them turn one, shoot or magic them turn one. And then he pushes up, he vanguard up, and then just tries to shoot on the left with his pistoliers, and then made me sweat, like actually probably a fair amount, because his rockets and his silver spike go off on my spider, and he does 4 wounds in the first turn. And I was like, oh man, I was like really worried, because all of a sudden I'm like, man, my right flank is gonna get rolled, and then he potentially has 3 scoring units in my
Your
deployment
deployment, yeah.
really early. Yeah. Um, yeah, my turn. I charge the Ed Bashers. He holds with um the one unit, because it would have fled off the board, and then the other unit on to the right of him, I just kill with shooting. And then he moved his knights up too, sort of kind of close to the wall. And then I shot a little bit at them, didn't do anything to knights. I cast a comet and a totemic first turn, because I just fucking rolled super hot because I'm a beast. I was like,
Skill.
okay, cool, such skill. Sorry, Chris. I'm really good at this game. Haha. um, and I put the comet sort of in between the ruins, and no. I put the first one sort of in front of where I thought his infantry were going, so sort of to the right of the diagonal of the house, because he really pushed forward. I tried to push him away, kind of. No, that's not true. I did put it in between the house and the ruins. I thought about putting it to the right, but I put it in between the house and the ruins, because spoiler alert, it kills my fanatics after I release them. The fanatics and the night goblins, I just ran forward. And I forgot where I put my wolf riders. But anyways, I killed both units of his pistoliers, and it's like a pretty unlikely that I overrun outside of the arc of the knights. I need like a 10 or 11. So I was like, well, if I do that and fail, I'm definitely going to lose them. So I'll just take the charge. So I just reformed to look. And then my manglers, I'm just kind of putting places where he can't just step on them with his infantry. I'm doing sort of the classic Polish joff tricks. They're not Polish joff tricks. They're just like you pre-measure out where your opponent can max march, and then you're just going to sort of put a line where, regardless of what you roll, you're not going to be able to be touched by that. So then it causes kind of a nightmare for him to deal with. Like, he has to deal with it early on. And then march the night goblins up in his face, throw out some fanatics. Yeah, and all my stuff kind of yeah, everything else I shoot him a bit. I don't cause any panic checks, and then
Did your
I don't
comment
really
went
do any.
off right away after it casted? You casted it? Did it look?
Yep.
Okay.
The very next turn. Yeah.
You
So the comment
found
went
me
off
then.
really right away. So yeah, then he goes, he charges my Ed Bashers. They were out of range of general. No, I think that they were in range of general. They're in range of BSB. Yeah. Um, and I don't think anything else really charged just because of where things were. He would have basically been charging like on Fanatics with his Imperial Guard or doing some other things that probably were a little less than ideal. And then I think I also got off, or no, didn't get off anything. It was like I hit him with a web launcher, so he didn't want to take a bunch of DTs as well, going into the like ruins or whatever. Um, and he kind of just kept pushing a fair amount. Oh, my Wolf Riders were actually on the right because his magic phase. What does he do? Comet comes down after he. I don't think he really does too much. He might have cast Altered Sight or something, but I stopped all the magic that could have. He failed one spell. Crucially, he failed like a fireball because he only had one spell to really go into my manglers, and he failed one. And I stopped the other, and then he got off some other thing that didn't really matter. Comet goes down, and it kills both my fanatics, and it kills a bunch of like Imperial Guard and a bunch of troops. And I think it might have done a wound to his wizard, who was kind of also in the area. And then my turn, I just chaff. Like he's basically sort of almost like he's kind of like touching. He's like on or partially touching the hill. And I just chaff all 3 units with my unit of Wolf Riders, and I have my Spider kind of looking to countercharge. And this is where I'm like worried. I'm like, man, I'm probably gonna like have a. At this point, I'm thinking like I'm gonna win a little bit on points, but I'm probably gonna lose secondary. But shooting he kills off my middle rock lobber, which I was like, crap, that's also really bad because I'm now it's gonna be harder to panic and take off like a big chunk of troops at once. With the rocket batteries, and he takes a wound or two on like each of them. I think. Luckily, I was pretty happy about that. And the knights, they charge, and he does. I think like it's like 2-0. So I need a 7, and I fail my rerollable 7. They flee. And then I think he pursues off the board, and then
So why did you fail? Because of the stand and shoot, or why did you fail your leadership 7? What happened? Like,
I just failed it twice. I had a 7 rerollable, and if I stick, then the Ed Bashers are in, and then I get my 20 crossbow orcs in the flank. And then I win the combat, at least on static res, if I do no wounds. Like, he's probably not going to do too much to me, because he's only strength 4, and then I can get my magic to help out, blah, blah,
rerollable
blah.
7 is like what? You have 25% chances to fail?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But, I mean...
Get good.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Good. I was like, crap. I mean, if I stick him in a really, really good spot, but then this is just, he just he really made me sweat this game. But then my turn, I charge with the crossbow, or no, actually reform with the crossbow orcs and get up in his face, and I think I shoot him on 6s twice. And then everything else kind of like moves up a bit to shoot and chaff and just be generally annoying the Wolf Riders chaff. My shooting, I think, magic. I think I cast another comet and he stops totemic again. God, that's a horrible sentence. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, honestly, I don't have a good turn-by-turn breakdown, but the spider kind of luckily lives. Like, he's not able, like, I think, in my opinion, he misprioritized some of the magic to kill it. He probably had a decent shot at it, but I ended up mopping up his units of Rocketeers. Oh, his Rangers, he scouted way ahead early, and they were the first things that were killed by Fanatics. And then the right, what was left, I was able to get like one panic check finally with a unit that was
Wait,
outside of his
Rangers.
general's range. Yeah, the 10 Rangers, they shot the spider as well. They didn't do anything the first
It
time.
was Chris MacArthur?
Yeah, the 10 Imperial Rangers.
I don't see that. Oh, okay, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah. And I was able to kill, I think, basically all of his Imperial Guard, all the heavy infantry, but I was able to kill a lot of his characters. I think I killed his BSB, and I won in small points. And we drew objective because last turn I did the classic cheesy reform. I took my characters out to like cast magic and stuff, and I just took that big unit of 25 orcs because they were basically in the like like 2/3 of the way over the board, and I just reformed the Conga and then put them into the deployment zone. So we contested objective because my last turn I couldn't panic off that last unit. So it was 12-8 to me.
So I think for my game, the main mistake that my opponent, two mistakes that my opponents did was that he let me deploy to the side and deploy first to start, and then second he didn't prioritize secondary objective at the end of the game. What were the mistakes that your opponent did?
I think I
That you
went over them. Well, deploying the Pistoliers on the left.
okay?
That was a mistake. I think like I would have to have a there's a couple of, like really like micro things of like
Yeah,
spell
like
selection and
okay.
blah blah blah. But I also think that I forget when there was a charge he could have taken into the cave goblins that he didn't because I he would have taken a lot of damage and I think he probably should have. Oh, also actually the big thing that happened in the third turn is because he didn't charge my cave goblins, they were kind of in front of the ruins, and he gave me the opportunity to charge his wizard in the flank. So he had to flee his wizard master one turn as well. That was
Ooh.
actually a big thing. Yeah, because he didn't see that at all. I was like, oh hey, you didn't
By
charge
the
me.
way,
Yeah, cave goblins. You don't want 30 cave goblins in your flank with spears, even if they don't do anything. I mean, 3 ranks
yes,
charge,
just flying big
ranks
flying,
banner,
3 ranks
banner.
banner
Yeah,
with
yeah,
7
yeah, yeah,
combat
yeah, yeah,
res and
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
okay, so that yeah that would count as a bigger mistake.
yeah, probably those were the big two, but he I'd say played pretty well overall, you know,
All
and
right.
really nice guy. I like felt bad. He was the person that I was like sweating the most by far. I was like worried. I was like, oh god damn it, like, oh no, the rocket batteries got up early.
Yeah,
Gonna
if the
blow.
rocket batteries go off, then they can be scary. They
Well,
just
that and then he rolled the 4 up on Silver Spike because I'm like, okay, whatever. Quicksilver Lash versus Silver Spike. I'll probably take the Silver Spike.
yeah, because there is higher chance that there is a like 50-50 chance that it won't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, for my second round, then I played Steven, and he was playing the dwarven list with that we're commenting that he's missing some of the toys, and
I would also say too that like on a personal note that
Mhm.
that ogre list is partially made to deal with lists like this. You know,
like
like
Chris's list
no
or
no no like Stevens too.
Steven. Ah,
Yeah, like double scatapults is really good here. Double cannons is good at killing off his and then the magic and stuff. You can kill off his magic and his shooting pretty. But I mean,
yes.
sorry, yeah, just like an overall note.
Yes, yes, I was not very concerned about it. He basically, this is the map, and I was able to choose sides again, so I cut it from the bottom left to top right, and I deployed on the right side. I was like, yeah, I'll give you a hill, but there is a giant impassable in front of the hill, so you'll not be able to use it. And what was the secondary objective on that round? Do you remember? It was scoring units.
Yeah, flags. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, flags. So actually, this is the second time where my opponent let me deploy first. And so I came in with the plan that basically I'm gonna shoot him and I'm gonna target his organ gun first and his cannon second if I can get to it, and then I'll just shoot the crap out of his King's Guard, especially King's Guard, so that I could my main bunker could kill his Hold Guardians, and then the game would be open from there. If I can, I would go for the king. If I couldn't, then I would not. And he let me deploy first, so I deployed a couple of inches behind the line. I was like, I don't need to be at the line because I can walk up first turn if he deploys really far in the corner, and if he deploys on the line to be aggressive towards me, I can back off, and then I'm full turn of his march away, right? But what he did is he deployed between the impassable and the edge, which surprised me because what I did, and he put the ballista on the hill. He put organ gun on the line, and he put a cannon on the line. He was running out of place because he started with 2 units of crossbows, followed up by the whole guardians, followed up by cannon, and then he had greybeards over there, and then unit of handgunners, right? So he was very constricted in this area. So he put Kingsguard behind Hold Guardians, which actually came in to be a pain in the ass for me because, well, I'll get into it. But basically, what I did is I've scouted one of my units of scraplings on the left of Impassable to go after his ballista, and the other unit I scouted into the forest and then walked into the water in the vanguard. So I made the forest DTs, and then on my first turn I made water DTs, and I put my those scraplings right in front of his organ gun. I was like, well, maybe I'll need to chip an extra wound on the organ at some point. Also, he put his engineers by the war machines outside of the units. So I was like, well, maybe I'll get some lucky shots at some point, right? And I missed killing the organ gun on the first turn basically by 1 wound. I threw all my magic in there. I threw all my shooting in there, besides, of course, the catapults, and I missed killing it by 1. So I was like, well,
That's my boy.
this
That's my
ain't
boy.
gonna be fun, right? I was surprised with what he did. He turned one of the units of crossbows to shoot the scraplings. So they were shooting with -2.
Sevens? They're on
-3.
sevens. -3 is our
Yes.
target.
Well, closer. Yeah, I think he was hitting me on 6s, then maybe something went wrong. But anyhow, he did
I
2
mean,
wounds, so
we
they
both know that you
survived.
don't know your own rules.
Yeah, it was just, I think it was a mistake. I think shooting at those guys was a mistake, but also he needed a way to deal with them. So what do, right? Because I can also charge the organ gun to finish it off the last wound, which I was actually thinking about. He shot my cannon on the right side with his marksman, the handgunners, and between handgunners and the cannon, he missed killing it by 1. And then he, of course, pushed, right? But then that's where the problem came in, because he pushed in the whole guardians and put the Kingsguard right behind them, and he put it in a position where I could charge it with my
unit.
big unit, but then I would have to
Oh, no.
overrun into his king. And I was like, do
Uh,
I want to take the general versus king fight? And so basically throughout
You
the
can
game,
deal with it, kind of though.
it's risky
Death Star. It is risky, but
because he hits
you're
me first with a D3 wounds.
yeah, but you have D3 wounds.
Yes, but he hit me first, so if he kills me with a D3 wounds, right?
He literally
Then
can't. He
why?
can't. Well, no, he can. He can do it if he spikes on the D3s. He has to roll a bunch of 2s because you have 5
Yeah,
HP. You have a 4 up. You have a
yeah,
4 up Aegis, and then he's losing an attack because of
yeah.
Liger's tongue.
So if 2 wounds sneaks through, he can kill me. So I was
No,
like,
no. He needs 3. He
I has
needs
5
3.
wounds on two. He can already kill me if he lacks out.
No, you have multi wounds.
Well, I forgot about that. I definitely deserve my place in this tournament.
You fucking degenerate! Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, the game doesn't matter anymore because I fucked
Yeah.
up on them before the game even started. See, guys, that's why you have to read your own list, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the advantage of making your own list. Is you have to read all the rules regarding it first.
But hey, you know what? it still went okay for me because I
Yeah.
basically was backing off and shooting his units until his graybeards were finally overrun in front of my tribesmen. They didn't get there because I was just over 12 inches away, and I just flank charged him with bombardiers and catapult front charge with a cannon and tribesmen, and I pretty much almost killed the whole unit. But he fled, and I chased him with. He killed my cannon in the combat because I was missing only one wound. And I chased him with bombardiers and a catapult. I was thinking, well, I have Swift Ride, I have 2 units, I'll probably catch him. And so I didn't pursue with the tribesmen because I was like, well, I have to watch and try to get a flank charge on the King's Guard, and maybe then I can clear them. But he fled, and he fled more. He rolled, I think, like 8, and I didn't catch him with both the units. So for the remainder of the game, my bombardiers and the cannon and the tribesmen were dealing with the remainder of his graybeards. Basically, I shot off Kingsguard, most of them, and he finally was able to charge his Hall Guardians into my Death Star, which I think was a mistake, because at this point he had like 3 Hall Guardians left in the unit, and they
Yeah, you
did
get
few
smoked.
wounds, and I just smoked them.
Yeah, you get slaughtered.
And then I was looking at the Kingsguard, and I was like, do I really want to deal with charge them? And since I didn't know about my having the multi wounds, I mean, I knew about it, I just absolutely forgot about it. So I was like, nope, I don't need to. I just shot the Kingsguard whole unit off, and I almost killed the king, but he passed the 5 ward save in the most important moment from the cannon shot. And basically, I think the MVP of the game were the scraplings because and the catapults, but the scraplings not only took the 2 turns of shooting from the crossbows, the ones that were shooting at the organ gun, but also the other unit killed the catapult, shot like 4 wounds, charged, killed it, overrun, and put 4 wounds on anvil. And made the unit of crossbow turn around and shoot them for 2 turns, failing to do it. So yeah, basically the whole turn time this unit of crossbows was shooting at 2 units of scraplings, and those scraplings paid for themselves either way. So the rest of the games was really uneventful because the whole thing I was just shooting at him, and I killed the whole unit of graybeards. His BSB survived because of the angling. I couldn't get enough guys fighting him. I shot the King's Guard, but his king survived, and I killed his organ gun. Turn 2, I focused that. I killed his bolt thrower, and of course I killed both of the engineers. So, and also half of the points for anvil. So I killed a lot. And he killed pretty much chaff you and the cannon. So that's how my game really went. It's just that, and that, again, I think big mistake from my opponent was that I chose sides and he let me deploy first. Okay, I think it's to you.
Dang. Evil Jaffe, Evil Jaffe.
Evil Jaffe, and you
My turn. I
played.
played against Johnny Pike. Johnny Pike.
Oh,
Let's go.
the mad
Um,
lad.
the absolute mad lad, the full Chad list. So I got the draw for first. So that was good.
How did you get to drop for first? Did he?
No. He picked sides.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is
So he
the brown thing? Is it a field or
field, field,
field?
field.
Okay, so all the
Yes. Yeah,
brown
yeah, and
fits.
the ruins was like bigger a little bit.
Yes.
And then he cut it bottom left to top right, and then took the top left part, and so I got to go for first, and I split my manglers, so I went like manglers, Ed Bescher's kind of in the field, my fanatics to the right of them, all in the line, in the ruins, I put my forest goblins, and then I put the Behind them, I put my archers, my big archer block with the mage and the general, and then where Jeff's putting his mouse now, like but further back actually, further back, I like sort of at the end of the building, I put the crossbows, just kind of overlooking the ruins,
That makes sense
and
because you also like their flank
stuff.
is protected.
Yeah, exactly. And then I put the spider and a mangler on the other side, and and the wolves I put uh in front of the Ed Bashers on the left. I put the Ed Bashers a little back, and I put the wolves in front, and I put the artillery all behind my archers. And then John deployed, um, starting from his left, the bottom. He kind of put it back. He put a his chariot and an eagle, and then behind his forest, he put his dragon BSB, and then he had a unit of spears, and then in front of the spears, like on the line, he put his pyro dragon, and then he had another unit of the spears, and then his uh, sisters were on the wall, in the back, and then to the right of all the spears, he had oh sorry, actually to the right of the sisters, he had an eagle, and then he had a lion chariot, kind of looking towards my spider and the mangler. And yeah, my notes on this. So good old Johnny boy. John was chilling, a little tipsy.
Wait a second, so he put his pyro wizard on the
Yeah,
line in front of the
that's
ruin.
what. Yeah. I mean, so on one hand, and actually, sorry, to the right of the spears, in between the spears and the chariot, he had his griffin character looking at me. So he had a lot of stuff on the line looking at me. Like there was a lot of pressure. Um,
Huh.
but yes, as you pointed out, like this deployment, you're only 18 away, and he basically deployed his dragon like 18 away from my cave goblins with relentless.
What could go wrong? What
What?
could go
What
wrong?
could go wrong? Like I don't remember what I did with magic. It wasn't pertinent at all, because like the mag gets, and then honestly, I had one of the best best shooting phases in ninth age I've ever had. Like ever. I killed his pyro dragon, half a unit of the rightmost unit of spears, and the griffin lord. And then yeah. So I was like, okay,
Fun and interactive
cool.
game.
I felt really bad because I did John the
I
absolute dirtiest.
search you did. You
I
cried as
did.
you were
No.
shooting him off. It's like, John, I don't want to do
Uh,
it, but take on
I
your dragon.
I was like, well, I mean, I wasn't like I wanted to kill the other dragon first so that John could cast Fireball more, so he could take more shots. You know, because that's why I felt bad. Because I was like, damn, this is pretty brutal. um, yeah, it was horrible, poor John. And then his turn. One chariot died on a mangler, and he failed a spear charge. While just kind of moving more forward and to try and charge more, I actually fled with the um I moved forward and vanguarded so kind of towards the middle with my wolves, and they fled through my units, and then rallied the next turn. Um, and yeah, I mean, he just has fast turns because I kill his magic early on, and then he has movement and shooting. So then I'm just doing my stuff, and I'm just trying to play a game of dancing, and my turn two, I basically kill the more or less the spear unit. And then I'm just like the rest of the game is kind of just clean up. I'm just killing stuff, and I kill everything. But I kind of make a mistake. We were talking about after the game, John and I.
You didn't
Where
have enough shots.
yes, a fireball. But I had my bunker of the Forest Goblin archers, and they were charged by the lion chariot. Because I totally just missed it, and I got charged in the flank, and I lost my like a bunch of
Oh,
points. Yeah. So
ouch.
instead of 20-0, I got a 18-2.
Ah. See, I missed my. I remember about it, but I forgot about my having the multi wounds. I'm still thinking whether I would take it or not. I would not. I'm not so sure whether I would risk it. And you missed the chance, the flank charge. See, we complement each
Yes.
other.
Yes. Well, and
with
also
both
too, like
dinguses.
you're probably forgetting too that the mage is hella good against the
No,
strength and dwarf.
I knew that the mage had a chance. I just like, why risk it, right? Like I
Yeah,
know that I'm winning. I'm going to win the
right.
secondary. Why
No,
risk
yeah,
it?
why risk it?
And I still got 17 points of it, so it's like,
Yeah, no,
do
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
risk losing the
totally
game
worth
for
it.
the 3 points? It's like,
Hell yeah. Oh, sorry, what?
yeah. If Neo was here, be like, why you didn't do it? You mad lad. Okay, so how many points did you get? 18, you said?
18, yeah.
All right, and so
And John did great. I mean, he had 71 points. So I was pretty happy
yeah,
to
yeah, he ended up
like
second place. He jumped me at the
71
end. Yeah,
minus my 18, and you're like, damn, boy, he had a good tournament. Damn, Johnny.
good tournament
Yeah,
and
great.
good time.
Love John. Yeah, too. Just
Yes,
like
it's fun.
drinking Fireball. I mean, I think that was also what the theme of the tournament was. Everyone had a fantastic time just hanging out,
Yes.
and open bar was awesome. The hospitality was great, you know. And yeah, it was really fun.
So for the third round, I was playing the clubmate Ryan, the guy who.
Ryan, let's go. Cause
How's it go?
the Denver round two actually had uh we had two Denver people playing on table one because they both are well. I think Dennis got a 20 early, and Ryan got a
Yes.
19.
So Ryan had to play Dennis on round two on table one, and he won. So he stayed there, and I had to move my minis up to face him. And he had a pretty scary list, pretty solid list. And let's open up the map that we played on. And we played on this map. And see, this is why, for me,
No,
all.
no. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
You did
that.
right.
That's why
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, all the games were about the were so much about the impossibles. Like in
To be
this
fair though,
game, it
I
was a.
think they should be it. It should be about terrain, you know. I don't think there was too much really egregious stuff.
No. There wasn't things like, giant 24 by 24 impossible and things like that. But I played on those three tables, and on those three tables, all my games were heavily concentrated around the impossible. And the same thing was with Ryan. He was actually the one choosing the side, so he chose top. And basically, I deployed to play around the impassable. The secondary objective was hold the center, and the center point ended up by the impass on the left side of the impassable. So my idea was that I would be dancing around the impassable. So I deployed like a cannon and a tribesman on the left. I deployed my bruiser block kind of on the center left, and basically had some war machine and the bombardiers on the other side. But I was basically more on the. I had one cannon on the right side, and that was it. I deployed on the left side. I was basically hoping that I'll use the impossible to protect my flank, and I'll use the tribesmen to close down on his army while I'll chaff the whatever comes from the right side. And Ryan deployed like minotaurs and the chariots in the field. He deployed his wizard, no, his wizard bunker in front of the impassable. He had a cyclop of right over here. He had a chariot on the center right of the impassable, and then he put the great weapon guys on the even farther right, and he put his Gortak even farther right than that.
Damn.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he didn't deploy right in front of me. He deployed on the right, and his plan was to swing at me. So that surprised me. And he had a thing that let him ambush first turn, so I kind of knew that first turn his ambushes will show up.
Hunting call.
So I let my chaff farther back. So my plan was basically if he shows up anywhere over here, I will just chaff him, turn around on war machines, shoot him, and then next turn charge him with the war machines. But he actually on my first turn I didn't do much to him really on my first turn because he had not only the forest which he put over here. Oh, on my first turn I scouted and vanguarded up around the impassable. uh, just to make him not be able to put the forest too far up. And I was able to move on my first turn to touch the field to make it DT. So whenever he moves his Minotaurs, he take DTs. Also, he had to take a frenzy check, right? So my first turn, I didn't move very far up. He had a Dark Rain. I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything, and I pretty much didn't do anything. I did some wounds. I think I killed one Minotaur with magic, and that was pretty much it. That was very uneventful. On his first turn, he started pushing up the right side, uh, but he didn't push his left side very much. I had he charged his Minotaurs. He failed the frenzy check. I fled with my scraplings right over here, kind of behind the impossible, and he's ambushed in the right corner with his guys to try to shut off the cannon. And he didn't kill. He did only 3 wounds to the cannon, so he wasn't able to kill it. And on my turn, the hill was kind of even farther in the corner. I think that I put it over here. But basically, on my turn, I turned the tribesman around, faced his unit of ambushers so that he wouldn't be able to go past them, and I hit the cannon behind the hill and behind the tribesman, so he wouldn't be able to shoot it to finish it off. I think that also one of the things that Ryan did, he took Chilling Howl, but
Oh,
he didn't take
yes.
Systemic
I was gonna
Summon.
mention this. I was gonna mention this. We actually, because I actually came in, because I was like, Jeff, when this Ryan will destroy you. Let's go, Ryan.
Yes, this was very hard list to face for me, but
Well, I told him
what?
the spells to take, and he didn't take summon.
Yes, and on
He
his
was like
first
last
turn, he
second.
casted large Chilling Howl, and he basically he casted firstly the Swarm of Insect into a cannon. I let it go. He did 0 wounds, and then he casted large Chilling Howl, and I was like, well, I'll try to stop it, but he miscasted to forget the spell, and I was like, damn. Do I even use my dice? And I was like, nope. I guess I'm not gonna get to roll dice in this magic phase. I let the Chilling Hole through because I was like, well, if you forget that, then there isn't many
You
spells that
got
I'm really
nothing.
afraid of. You're gonna
Yeah.
have one spells and the bounce spells that I maybe have to be afraid of, and that just simplifies my games so much. So I let it go. That's why my second turn wasn't super eventful, also because uh, I just had a Chilling Call around me. So I was able to chaff him on the right side. I used my unit of scraplings to chaff his lord and his big unit of great weapon guys. I moved farther with my Death Star towards the secondary objective that was kind of like over here. The map is kind of shifted. The impossible had to be a little bit more farther to the right. And basically, what he didn't notice in his second turn was that because he had a general by the impassable, his big brick of great weapons was too far away from his secondary objective. So on turn 2, I was able to score first point on the secondary objective. And I rallied, of course, the scraplings. So on his next turn, I used another unit of scraplings to chaff him again, right? And basically, I charged his ambushers. I killed his ambushers. I turned around, and the whole game revolved about him trying to move through the right side of the impossible, and I was just throwing chaff after chaff into him. He moved his Gortage, but his Gortage had to make such a long way from the right side that at the end of the game, it finally got into a point where he was at the lake, and my main brick scored secondary on the round 2 and 3, and I backed it off at the end of the game, so that his Gortak would not be able to charge it. I was able to shoot off his Minotaurs, and I was able to put wounds on his chariots, and pretty much game ended over there. I killed the ambushers. I killed his. I couldn't even kill his chaffing unit because of other things that I was doing. But he basically killed my all my chaff, and yeah, the game ended up over there where it basically was 10-10, and I got the secondary objective because he never was able to get anything scoring for long enough into the area. It was a tough matchup. I think that he deployed too many things on the right side, and he agreed that he kind of had a good idea. Well, he had an idea about flanking from the right side, but he didn't take into account how many turns it will take his Gortach to be moving. And between moving the Gortach and me chaffing him all the time, he just wasn't able to get a return of the value between of his fighting units, like the big brick of Great Open guys and Lord. Oh, his Lord, yeah, his Lord killed my one of the bombardiers because I fled and he was able to catch me on like he rolled like 11. So between the mistake of putting too much on the right side and the mistake of choosing the wrong spells, I think I was kind of lucky to actually win the game 13-7.
Yeah,
I think that if he played it, if he deployed better, if he chose better spells, I think I would be going for like 5 points in this
yeah,
game.
it would be bad probably.
And
Haha,
I think
Joff.
also he should have deployed his ambushers from the front of the cannon and use my cannon as a way to stop
The
the
chaff. Yeah.
yes, yeah, to so that he would be able to charge the cannon on the second turn. I would be not able to do anything about it, or at least shoot it, because that was the whole reason why the ambushing units popped there. But really good game out of him, and well, it was sad that I had to kind of win the game there. Sad to play the teammates, right? And I didn't know what's coming next.
Now
Ah,
now it's table 2, Jeff.
your table two.
Yeah,
Which table was that? Which
yeah, that one.
that one?
No,
No, that one.
one of
That
both.
one.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one.
that.
Yeah.
But I was on the top side, so it's gonna be kind of confusing for me for a sec. But I was played against Austin Murray, and
And his beautiful
going
playset,
into it, so going into it, I was like, bro, I'm about to get smoked. This is a pretty bad matchup, I think. I mean, I can deal with it if certain things go right, like pretty well. If he messes up and loses his helmet early, but he played that really, really well, like of not losing the helmet. But he also played it like the portal placement really well early. I and it was funny. Like this, it was kind of the same thing where I went to go and talk to Ryan, and be like, Ryan, do this. Like Rob was like, kind of was like, Austin, come here, you got this, and like gave him a little pep talk beforehand. But unfortunately for us, and I was able to luckily drop to go first. He picked sides, and he picked oh hell yeah. He picked the oh wait, go back to that one. Oh wait, hold on. Unknown.png. Poland
Let's
internet.
go.
Okay. So he deployed on the top side of this one. um and he kind of deployed in the corner, the middle. He had the Helma in the far left corner behind the hill. And then he had the giant and his Feldrich ancestor and a unit fall on that far side as well, sort of in front of them. And then sort of to the right of the portal, to the right of the hill, he had well, on the hill, I think he had his other unit of the fallen, and then to the right of it, he had the chosen, the forsworn, and the forsworn in the front, and then he had a portal right there as well, and then he had his big block of warriors. Um, and for me, I starting from my left, had the manglers there, like sort of 6 inches away, kind of from the left board edge, like right on the line. And then I had my crossbow unit, and I had, I think, like my war machine sort of in the very back to the right of the crossbows. And then I had my to the right of the crossbows, sort of behind the forest. I had my big block of orcs, my general and my mage, and then
Hey,
and in front of
Tats.
them, first, but yeah.
Did you remember this time that you're not steadfast in the forest?
Yes, yes,
Oh, okay.
did it come into play? And in front of them, I put my Wolf Riders to Vanguard, and actually, I would say overall, this is a sort of a minor note. My Wolf Riders probably were close to my MVP. Like everything in my army did pretty well, but the Wolf Riders, I think, like because of how I was able to like you'll see. But I mean, yeah. Um, and then to the right of them, I sort of had my BSB bunker, and then he had a portal sort of right behind that impassable, in between the impassable and the hill. So on the hill, I put the Ed Bashers, and then facing sort of that, but then also able to like kind of see most of the board. I put the spider, and then I put the mangler right in front of them as well. Um, and yeah, I kind of pushed up a little bit. I pushed my fighters forward and kind of put them like 5 inches in front of where his fallen were. My magic and shooting, I don't honestly remember what I did.
We're trying to target his Helmo. Were you dropping comets over there?
No, I actually. So my first turn, I my shooting and magic killed his giant, and put a wound on his ancestor. And my biggest thing was I tried to keep my manglers out of range of his Forsakens, March range, and then his turn. I think he made like, in my opinion, this is kind of like a game losing mistake. Like, I think he should have said, "Screw your stupid little Wolf Riders." He over respected my combat stuff, and he charged the Wolf Riders with his big unit of Fallen. So I was able to flee through my own units, and then rally in my turn, and then there was no pressure on the right. Whereas if he goes through, he has that big stubborn unit, and then he can just kind of deal with my combat threats like pretty easily. I think, like at least in 2 turns, like
So he should have
very
used the
easily.
Helmo markers
Yes, yes.
instead of charging. Well,
Yeah, because it blocked up all of his infantry. So all of a sudden he's just not moving, like with this big middle part. And then he pushed his Shaggoth forward, or the Feldrek ancestor, and he kept hiding his helm on. And then he kind of moved his fallen a little bit forward, but he has to respect the uh, Mangler. And then didn't really, he had no magic. So again, he has very little. This is my big note going into this matchup. It was like he has no magic, so I'm just like, okay, cool. My manglers are a nightmare.
also, your tough is nightmare. Also, like,
And fanatics too.
yeah.
And then all the DT stuff. And then in my turn, I pop relentless. I throw some fanatics through his fallen and stuff, get them in his back line. My manglers move forward a little bit. The one on the left, I do the thing where I just measure where I can't be within. I'm like, I'll always be outside of 12 of his fallen on the left. And then my other mangler, I'm just sort of like peeking around his flank and ready to go into all of his stuff. And then what else do I do? I think that's about it. And then I kill his Feldrak this turn with shooting and magic.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that magic phase is so oppressive. It's like with Smite the Unbeliever, all of a sudden the crossbows turn to be really good. You know. Actually, no, I don't. I don't. I do a couple more. I do 3 wounds, I think, this turn with that. Sorry, I don't kill it this turn because on his turn he goes and that's his breath weapon. So he's like 2 or 3 wounds left on this guy at this point. And then I'm constantly doing wounds to his Forsworn. The Maggots go through. And the wolves kind of go up and block again. And then turn 2, he just kind of YOLOs and he puts his big block of warriors into the portal they created on my left flank during his turn, which I was really worried about. And moved the Elder and he brought home some Mangler, and then Forsworn stay in place because like basically their front was facing like directly in line with the water, and I cast Break the Spirit on them, and I had a unit of Night Goblins facing, so he would take a ton of DTs going through with Break the Spirit on. And then he kills the left Mangler, and then I run my BSB and Mage out of the Archer bunker and conga line them basically, so that they're able to shoot at the Ancestor with like I think it has 3 wounds on it at this point. Um, and they're chaffing both the Forsworn and the Warriors. And my right Mangler is like now basically like breathing down his line, and then my left, my left died. Then I kill his Elder this turn, and I do a bunch of more like small damage, and then this is where like my Cave Goblins become MVP. 'Cause he didn't charge them, so I just moved them kind of behind his Forsworn, but able to score. And I kind of move my Feral Ed Bashers through to like try and contest the middle and score more. And then in his turn, he charges the Goblin Archers, and then he also takes one of his units of Chosen through the portal onto the right side. And then my turn, I charged that unit that went through the portal with my Feral Orc Warlord, and I called the War Cry and the Spider. And my Warlord fails the charge, fails his 6-foot stride, and the Spider went in alone. But then I went like ham on magic, and I got off like 3 buffs, and like my shooting goes pretty well. And I'm able to take the fourth one under 5, so I can start putting wounds on his Doomlord, and then the Spider slaughters the Chosen because I had like +1 strength, and I had like a lot of buffs off. And then but I still took 3 wounds though, which was crazy to me because I had like 3 buffs off, or 2 buffs and a hex. So it was pretty gnarly. Then he tried my wolves with the Forest Warren, but I was again able to win another objective point because he was out of range of his Chaos Warriors. And then the end of the game, I don't kill his Doomlord, but he has like his Forsaken Champion on 1 wound, the Helma, and then 3 wounds of the Forsaken. Yeah. So I got objective, and I won 18-2 that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so this is the sad part of the tournament that like Ryan had to stop Dennis, then I had to stop Ryan, and then round 4 it's me and
Dun,
Pablo.
dun, dun!
So it's full round robin of
Dingus on Dingus.
exactly of the Denverites playing the Denverites, which I mean that happens, right? You go to a tournament, you travel, and you end up playing your own teammates. It's like, well, what can you do, right?
All I'll say is Denver wins round 2, 3, 4, and 5 on table 5.
Table what? Table 5 what? I didn't catch it.
People from Denver won 2, 3, 4, and 5 on. Sorry, on table 1. On
Oh,
table 1. Yeah.
so basically we had all-time presence over there.
Yeah, basically after the first round.
Well, I mean, they can come over to our tournament and try to take back.
I mean, they try.
Yeah, they can try. So talk about our game.
Talk about it. My notes are bip boop get shit on. you
played on
got to
this
go
one.
first. You got to go first.
So yes, I got to go first. Pablo chose
But-
bottom side, and I didn't. I didn't realize kind of like
How bad the
thought that
matchup was.
yes, I thought that he would be deploying around the hill. So I deployed my bruisers over here, and I deployed Trism on the other side. Here is where the Impossible plays against me. I think Impossibles are favoring defending army. I know what your thought about that. It's harder to be pushing army around the Impossible than it is to be defending army around it.
You made a mistake though, I think
I
actually.
made a bunch of mistakes, but yes.
Yeah, but like early on with the impassable, because I think you could have maybe used it a little bit. I thought you were gonna screen more of your stuff early on, and well, yeah, like once you saw my position, you were gonna try to move forward towards me, and then try to screen with that, so you don't like take a lot of your stuff off
Mm-hmm.
super early. Um, but yeah, you kind of deployed sort of like all in the center, and then I deployed sort of mainly on the right, and I had a mangler on the back left, on behind the hill. Um,
And then you had a
and I had
crossbow behind the behind
yeah,
the
like
possible over here somewhere.
yeah, crossbows kind of yep, crossbows right there, and then my cave goblins right in the middle, and then I had my big block of orcs like kind of touching the water. And then I had my artillery kind of all behind them, and I just made sure to keep them out of range of the cannons, basically. Turn one, and
Because I
make
had
sure
a
that he,
cannon over here and I had a
and like
cannon
over
over
there.
here.
Yeah, so I kind of was like, I'm gonna keep him out of range of the cannons, and then keep him out of range of the pyro. And then I had my little BSB bunker, I think, kind of like behind all that at first, like in between the artillery and my big orc block, sort of in the middle of everything. And then I had the Ed Bashers and the Spider and a Mangler on the right. Um,
Yeah,
which
my plan was to go at this point after the deploy was of course to try to rush you over here from this side, kind of go and kill the crossbows while trying to hold you off because those terrain. So you chose the hill and I
uh-huh.
chose the forest, which also kind of that's how I also thought that you were going to deploy. Why? I thought you were going to deploy more towards the left.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, that didn't make sense that you deploy on the right because you were going to shoot it. So my plan was basically to kill the mangler with some magic, like the cascading fire, and move the bombardiers behind the behind the hill, so that I could have scoring unit on the hill. And I think what ended up happening was that I had those scraplings over here that I
Well, so what had happened was I made both the lists, and I made this org list to counter
yes.
Joff's list. So fuck your ogre list, Joffy. It's my ogre list, and
So I was pretty screwed at this point going into the matchup. He knew exactly what
yeah,
I have, when I was like, beep boop la da dee la da da. What do you have in your list? Uh,
yeah. Like your turn one, you like how you deployed, and I was like, okay, cool. And like you really did like almost nothing turn one. I feel like.
well, because I had to march so much, I had to
Yeah,
march my
you're marching
bombardiers, so
everything.
my block had to
You made
march
a really big mistake. You put
with
a
the
cat right, yeah, the
behind the
cat right
impossible,
there. Yes,
and the
sir.
goblins just marched up and just beep boop deployed
Relentless.
the
I kill his cat in the shooting. The magic. I get a comet off, like sort of also in the same area.
like right over
Um,
here, yeah.
yeah.
Which I had like bombardiers over here. I had a
Cannon,
tribesman. I had a
cannon. Yep.
cannon
Yeah.
over there.
Like your bunker was kind of close there. I put it like right in the middle, like so, like
Yes.
to
Well, I
top
put it over
left.
here because it didn't reach the cannon
Yeah.
and it didn't reach the bunker.
Well, I rolled like a 4 or 5,
Yeah.
so like so I had 6 inches, so it like yeah. So if I roll
And I
high, but
think the only
yeah.
the, I was trying to get some point and get like, well, while I was sneaking in them, sneaking in, just like pushing in
Oh,
my.
I vanguarded my wolf riders, right? You charged
Yes.
them turn one.
I charged them. I thought I needed less than I did, but I rolled 12 in the end. And that's what, when I got my tribesmen to ride over here, I was able to overrun
Y-
into your poor
Well,
boys. No, no, bashers.
you had the option. You could try for it.
Yes, and what was it? Ed bashers?
Hmm. The for
Mounted Ed
orc ed
basher.
bashes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I needed 4,
But
and
a
I
five,
failed.
a five, and you rolled a
5.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are only 4.
yeah.
If I would be able to do that, I still lose the tribesmen,
Because
but I
get to
killed the
flank them.
scoring
But
unit and I turned the attention from the big block with your characters to turn around over there and go towards the right side. And I was like, that's gonna put pressure of my big block coming over there. Now it won't matter because you actually shot off so many of my ogres before I even got there that either
yeah,
way it would not
I
be
was.
such a
They were
big
all dead
thing.
by the time you were charging stuff like and actually not just chaff.
Yeah. So basically, I was able to get the crossbows. I killed the crossbows. I decided not to overrun because I also had bombardiers coming in over here for a
Not turn
secondary
two.
objective.
That was like
Not
your
not
turn
turn
three
two.
or
Yeah,
four.
later on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
So, but basically, uh, I didn't flood off the board, so I turned around. So Pablo used his unit of goblins to chaff me, put in front of my
Because for
leftovers.
context,
Yeah,
in my turn two, my Ed Bashers and the Spider charge into his tribesman, and then I'm looking at his Scratapult and like a bunch of those, like sort of just like that whole flank is kind of gone.
yes, exactly.
Right.
The whole
Yeah.
flank was just collapsed at this point. So I was just like, well, let's try to get on the war machines, and then in the combat with the goblins, I cast cascading fire and I do a bunch of wounds to myself because I misfire. And in the combat, the goblins are able to kill my shaman, Baby Yoda. He killed Baby Yoda, guys. Okay.
Well, so your turn two, you kind of move forward a little bit, but the comet comes down. I kill a cannon in the middle. I do a bunch of wounds to
No,
the
you didn't kill the cannon
bombardiers.
in the middle. Cannon in the middle survived. Didn't reach. You killed bombardiers, and you killed the cat, and you killed your
The cat I kill with fanatics. I kill the
yeah.
one cannon.
No,
Turn
because one cannon
to
was over here, and the
yeah.
second cannon was over here, and the second cannon, you remember, panicked off the board
No,
on the last charge.
that was Scratapult.
That's
That was
horrible.
Scratapult.
Okay, well then you
Yeah.
killed cannon.
Yeah, I killed your
All right.
cannon. The comet came down. I killed his bombardiers. Because the fanatics, one fanatic got into them, did like a couple wounds, and I think I did a couple with like shooting, and then I was able to put a couple wounds with my war machines, and then comet comes down, and it kills my fanatics again, which is I think I did like 3 times in a row or something like that, and then I killed his cannon, and then um basically after that again he only has the one scratapult in the woods and it's like basically just at a range of my spider and my Ed Bashers and then my night goblins kind of just turned around to block up his stuff. And yes, they killed your characters. And then Cammy was mad, but
Night
then we were
goblins.
getting blitzed the second night. We were like getting absolutely kind of back on the horn. And
Absolutely hammered.
was it Noah or Ryan? They're like, Cammy, the thing is, it's Euron's Baby Yoda, so it was evil Baby. It was Darth Baby Yoda. And she's like, well, you make a great point.
And Mando, and my BSB Mando. Okay, you killed
Yeah.
Mando also. What was it? Darth Mando also? Huh?
And then,
Huh,
and then
Ryan?
what did I do to your Lord? Like,
My lord
I
actually
panicked him,
charged.
right?
Yes, you
Oh
didn't
yeah, I
panic
panicked
him.
him on the
I
stand shoot.
panicked him. You didn't do it. I did it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He got off the large break the spirit, and I killed off my last bruiser. Yes, a bruiser, and I put the wound on myself. I had to take a panic check, and I failed panic 9. I rolled a 10, and I fled. I will at this point I end up right by the border, and he probably used his cavalry to chase it off.
Yeah. And well, and we had an epic battle of whiffing where my feral orc I have like 4 or 5.
Oh,
They charge a cat, and they're in combat for like 3 turns, and we just sit there doing nothing.
yes, the cat was like right
And
over here. Yes.
I make you take a check, and you just like pass a 4 or something like that. You're like, kick W, let's go.
No, you couldn't do any wounds, so you had a flank charge.
Yeah.
So it's like a 7
No, but
and the banner, so maybe 6.
one or two combats after that, I did a wound eventually.
Yes, you did finally a wound. Yes.
You passed.
Well, of course. Come on.
Very funny. Of course, exactly. And then I won. Did we draw objective?
We
We
drew
must have, right?
objective.
Yeah,
Yes, we
you
drew
drew
objective.
objective. Yeah,
Yes.
'cause-
I
yeah,
saved my cannon over here. You panicked off my catapult, and you panicked off my general.
yeah. Got
And I
everything
got
else.
out of with 4 points out of that match. So Pablo
I
stopped
got
my run for the
16.
tournament.
Haha, Joff, you suck. Well, it depends on my last game.
Well, yes,
But
I'm saying like
I,
like we each in step tapped other people's
oh
runs
yes,
at the
yes,
turn
yes, yes,
at winning the tournament, right?
yeah.
So
And then
last
talk about your on 5. I'm going to the bathroom quick.
yes, so last fight I went against Len and his demons. That was very fun. Actually, I should open probably probably the universal battle for that one because it was actually a very interesting game. So let's see. No, I'm not gonna become a pro right now. Let's put some password in. We played on this map. So there was like a lake somewhere in the centrish. The hill didn't come into play, so I don't have to bother with that hill, but this hill actually did come into play. And then there was a scorch, not scorch, impossible. Of course, it was impossible. Like literally every turn there is impossible. That there we have a huge fight around, and the forest didn't come to play. Basically, we played. I deployed myself pretty much over here. I put a tribesman on the hill. I put a cannon behind. I was able to hit both sides, so I was able to deploy first. I put my bruiser block over here, bombardiers like catapults, cannon on the over here, and then on the hill also, and then the cannon. But there was a very interesting thing that happened in our game. So I'll just try to mimic it because
Joff rolled the 6 first turn. Very interesting.
super interesting. Okay, yes, very interesting. Are they 40 by 40? No, they're not 40 by 40. How did you delete? Oh, now you press delete. Oh my gosh, wow. Amazing. Are Fallen 40? No, Fallen are not 40. Are they? Perhaps. What's 40 by 40 in Warrior Army? Forsworn?
What's what?
40 by 40 in the army. Are Forsworn 40 by 40?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what happens when you get two
So-
poles playing against each other.
Basically, there was a situation like that. There was a Scourge over here. There were his, what do you call those? Blazing Glories, right? The two Blazing Glories on the right side. And I was not able to do much on my first turn of magic, but I was able to put a bunch of wounds, three or four wounds on his Scourge with a cannon shot. So that was great. And on his first turn, he decided that he's gonna chaff me. So he chaffed my tribesmen over here, and he moved like literally everything in their mother behind them. Well, also there were scraplings over here. He charged scraplings. I passed the terror check, so his Scourge got stuck behind them, and he had to move his blazing glory around the scraplings, right? So he was going for chaffing my tribesmen so that I would have to charge him, and he would counter charge me with blazing glories in the Scourge, and I would die. I had a cannon behind me, so I was not able to back off. And interesting way that I came out with how to deal with that. He did not take into account. He was like, "Damn it, what a rat bastard!" Right?
Basically, Joff cheated.
Yes, I. Thank you. Okay. So what I did is,
in
I
layman's
reformed-
terms,
How do I log the axis right now? And I moved over here. So he was now, all his stuff was not able to charge me because they're facing on the flank. And also, I was able to put my cat right over here. And basically, oh, now I have my locked access. Basically, what I did is that his Scourge that was flying couldn't now charge my tribesman
How did
because it
that
couldn't
fire
fit
no
over
one?
here. It couldn't charge. It could charge the cat, but because of the angling, it was going just past the tribesman, and his blazing glories were charged by his own cavalry unit. So he was not the most happy with my play over there, but I was like sweating bullets. I was so happy that I came out with that move because otherwise I was losing the game. And basically the whole game revolved at this point he charged. This was the champion over here. Does Control Z work? Oh my gosh! Oh, orgasming. Control Z works now. So he used
Crap.
his.
The PG. Oh wait, no, it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's not. I made sure that this channel is not PG-13. You kidding me? It's for adults only. So he used his Veil Serpents, which I missed this charge. His Veil Serpents were like way off over there, and turns out that they needed like 9 or 8 to charge a flank of this cat, and I didn't angle the cat right enough so that the Veil Serpents, because the Impossible was I guess a little bit off, the Veil Serpents were able to charge the cat and overrun into the flank of Tribesmen. So in my turn, I buffed the Tribesmen, and I was able to stick through the combat and reform. So in his turn, he moved basically Blazing Glories over here on by the Impassable and by the cannon, which I moved kind of behind the hill, so that he wouldn't be able to see, but I would be able to see his scourge and shoot. Right, so he moved his Blazing Glories over here. He has me locked in the combat, and I am able to pass the CF7 with a reroll and face his Blazing Glories while having the Veil Serpents on my flank fighting the champion, and have a Hereditary spell on me. So on his turn, he charged the Blazing Glories, and I was able to stick in the combat. I basically lost, in those rounds of combat, I lost 2 Tribesmen. I was able to pass my Steadfast. I was also able to, on the turn where I moved on this turn when I moved the Tribesman to face, and I was able to put a cannon from over here to over here somehow and shot his Scourge and finish it off. It was just super lucky, because no, I didn't move over there. I moved the cannon on the hill, and yes, because he moved the cavalry somewhere over here, and his Scourge over here somehow, so I was able to shoot the Scourge off. And even though I was moving and he had a hard target, I rolled a 6, and
Another one.
yes.
And Lenny was really pleased with that. Poor Lenny.
Or did I? No, I didn't roll a 6, sorry. I rolled a 6 on the first time. I rolled a 4 because I didn't move the cannon, actually. I left the cannon where it was. I just pivoted. And yeah, and close range, large, he had hard target, so I hit him on 4. At the beginning, I was like 4, and I was like, oh damn, I missed it. And then we were doing something, so I'm like, wait a second, you're gigantic. The 4 hits you, and he's like, I'm hard target. No, you're hard target, but I'm in the close range, so 4 hits. He fails his ward save, Scourge dies. Len is not very happy. And basically,
And that's like a huge point swing, though, too.
Yes.
It's like you're like 900 points up.
yes. And then another big thing was we had this combat over here, right? Going on, and I had my block over here. And at the beginning, we measured that my block could charge the Veil Serpent. But what we didn't measure is that my block couldn't close the doors with the third rank sticking out.
Loser.
Loser! So instead of doing that, I charged his, what are they called? Brazen Beasts over here.
Beast.
And I do a very smart Jaffe thing. You see those Brazen Beasts? Incendiary arc. You see this thing, right?
Flaming swords!
I cast Flaming Swords on myself! Let's go!
Idiot. Wait, hold on. Did you apply the flaming to your impact hits?
Yes.
You idiot. You don't apply that to impact hits.
Okay. See?
But anyways.
So I cheated myself even there. Oh, mwah, chef's kiss.
Mwah,
I'm the
chef's
best
kiss.
player in NA. Second best player.
Idiot.
So I still was able to win the combat and reform to stop his courtesan from charging my bombardiers over here. The whole game was just so many positional things that we were both doing, because he had a secondary over here and I had a secondary over here. So I was trying to prevent him from getting to it. It was just a nightmare. And in the combat over here, I was able to cast a hereditary spell. He failed to dispel it with all his dice, I think. And I lost one more tribesman, but I was able to still stick in the combat. At this point, I'm putting wounds on Blazing Glories. I'm killing the Veil Serpents, and on his turn, he was basically trying to contest the secondary objective, and he barely failed doing it. His imps couldn't get there, and basically what swung the game was that the tribesmen were able to kill both Blazing Glories and the Veil Serpent in this round of combat, finish them off. So yeah, he killed the cannon. Oh, he was able to use the cavalry around here, moved it around here, and I was able to charge my artillery park over here. So he charged one of the catapults, overran to other catapult, and the cannon, which broke like turn 2, charged the flank of the remaining two cav guys in the cannon. So he killed one cannon, one catapult. I killed his sirens. I wasn't able to kill his imps. I killed his blazing glories. I killed his veil serpents. I killed his scourge, brazen beasts, and I put a bunch of wounds on myrmidons. So he made a mistake. Instead of when these myrmidons were over here, he turned them around and went back towards him, which was a mistake because he couldn't push my scoring units or contest the secondary objective on my side. So the game ended up after a lot of sweating, a lot of measuring, a lot of back and forth about angles and can I do that? Can you see here? Can you pivot over there? It ended up 14-6.
Who's big spoon? Who's little spoon? Oh,
Yeah, it was just a great game.
yeah.
So yeah, that's back to you and your game against.
Hey, Joshy boy, Josh
Nope,
Kern.
nope. Your game against.
Open bar.
Yes! You killed open bar.
Oh man, this is like probably my most open bar round, I will say, by far actually, because Cammy came back and um I won tableside, and then Josh let me start deploying first. So can you pull up table 1? Because I basically that big hill on table 1 on the bottom left. Yeah, that one
That's
right there. Yeah, so I picked the bottom side. And I basically just castled in the corner. We had objectives somewhere. I don't really remember. And I basically put my wolves because it was counter thrust. So I put my wolves like max up. I cover that whole block of board up. And then Josh, in my opinion, makes a series of mistakes of like deployment and stuff where like I mean, and we talked about this in the thing where it's like he kind of mirrors me on the left and he puts down his warhounds first, which I feel in most deployments is really good, but against me with 2 manglers is a big mistake. Because that's like 95 points that is going to kill my manglers in a list with like short range magic. And he deploys his knights sort of back left against the fields. He deploys Chosen, his big block of warriors, and then Warhounds in front of them in the field. And then on the right, he goes Knights, Chosen behind the Warhounds, and then big block of warriors, and then Ancestor. And then he put actually the barbs sort of sorry, not Chosen. He puts the Knights. Sorry. Okay. Hold on. Chop. From the top. Back left. Okay.
Yes.
Warrior Knights, and then he puts the barbs with the wizard, and then his warhounds are like in the front of the field with the Chosen behind them, and then he has warriors just to the right of them, and then to the right of them he has the Feldrake Ancestor. And then he has to the right of the Ancestor his other unit of Chosen without greed, and then he has his Feldrax. And then for me, I have the crossbows on the hill. I have Ed Bashers to the left of them, my orcs kind of on the line behind the big conga line of wolf riders, and then artillery part kind of in the back middle area. So just able to sort of bad touch everything because 30-inch short range. And then night goblins kind of, or the goblins in the middle, and the night goblins sort of behind the water piece, and then the spider on the far right. And I was able to go first. I chaffed up all of his infantry on the left, and was able to make sure that I couldn't get panicked off by the Feldrak. And my, first I was like, all right, last game, table 1. After the end of my turn 1, like I had done 3 wounds to the Feldrak ancestor already. I had just done a lot of
So
work.
what I saw is that basically your wolves chopped like a lot of his army right over here,
Yeah,
and then you
his.
dropped Comet right over there
Yep,
also.
yep, right
Yeah.
there, like right where he had to go to start threatening me. And then started
Oh,
his
so
turn.
like
He
over
was
here.
no, sort of like in between the field, the impassable, and the wall, sort of
Oh,
like
he
right in the
dropped the
middle of
Comet
that.
over here.
Yeah, right there. Because in my turn, I moved the archers kind of up on the wall. Because I was like, I have parry and distracting now. Like, come charge me with all your stuff. It's gonna be a pain in the ass with my magic and stuff. I can probably actually take most of your stuff in the list. And then his turn, he just starts pushing like full on forward. And then puts his Feldjack up. He charges the goblins. Um, and then but because I like chaffed him so well, he was kind of screwed. And then he moves his knights up like super far forward in charge range of my feral Ed Bashers. And I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll take this. And then um, magic phase, he flubs. He just fizzles a lot. He like fails a bunch of spells, and I it was one of those instances like game 1 where I could stop everything that could kill my left mangler. And then it was like, oh, okay, this is really scary for you, because now I'm like close to your knights, I'm close to your barbarian horsemen that took some wounds the first shooting phase. That are down to like 4 guys already, and you haven't moved, and Comet came down as well, and I did some wounds. And then my turn, I kill his ancestor. I throw fanatics forward, like right in front of his chosen, and a bunch of other stuff, like that are like all of his infantry. Um, and just keep killing a lot of stuff. And I relentless the night goblins, and then to protect that flank, I basically moved my spider up so he couldn't move forward. But anyway, he charged, he could only get 1 model in. And then that turn I also like cast Break the Spirit on that unit. So like I'd been trying to do that to slow down his advance.
What you're
Um,
trying to say is you not touch the open bar. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and honestly, like Cameo's come around, she's like, "Let's do shots," and I was I was like, "I'm gonna play it slow," and then after the first turn, I was like, "Let's take as many shots as we want," because this game is not looking good for old Josh. Um,
Right.
yeah. So and then I won 19-1. I killed, I think, basically everything, almost everything.
All right. And so the final standings. Do we have them over here? Results.
Oh, he has them out.
Uh,
No, just 2021.
oh, here.
And these are wrong. These are wrong because if you can do the math, I did not do 55 battle points.
Yes, but inside over here, basically,
Oh, that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
those were the results.
Oh, well, that's like yeah. So we don't know the hobby aspect of it, like
Well,
the
no,
hobby.
but battle points are over here. So Pablo
Yeah.
basically won.
I got first.
Johnny
I got
Pie got
second.
second place. I got third.
Rafi got third.
Lenny got
Rob got fourth.
fifth, fourth. Oh, Rob got fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
Lenny
And
got
then Lenny got
fifth.
fifth.
Ryan got sixth.
No, ninth. Ryan got
Ninth.
ninth.
Okay, ninth.
Six,
Okay.
six was Josh Gurn. Josh got
Okay.
six, and then there was a three-way tie for ninth. Actually, holy shit! There's Kenny, Jolo, and Ryan Dorsey.
So Ryan got ninth. Then Noah. Right? Noah 18th. Then it's 19th.
Yeah, for our club.
Yes. So pretty fun tournament. Then we decided to rest for the night and go all rested to Denver, and we
Yes,
arrived
yes, very
till
rested.
morning.
Oh god, we drank so much. It was
So
like, all right, what
kudos
time?
to Ryan for actually driving the next day.
Yes, we fucking drove through an absolute blizzard. It was like they
Yes,
closed I-70, and like we saw a car do a literal 360 in front of us.
yes, no
Do
visibility.
a barrel roll.
Yeah,
Yeah, but 10 out of 10 tournament. Um,
definitely looking forward for next year. I mean, this year we're also going for Wicked in May.
yeah,
I think
super.
there are still a couple of places left, so if you haven't signed up, do that
No,
now.
I think it's full. But if you want to sign up and haven't yet, instead of signing up, well, I mean, get on the wait list and maybe plan for it because knock on wood, that sometimes there's drops. But also maybe do what like bother Rob about getting a bigger venue too. Hopefully, I mean, who knows? It might be
Yeah,
totally
maybe he'll be
impossible.
able to stake a table. Just contact him. Just
Maybe.
be in contact
Yeah,
with him.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who knows? I mean, and it would be fun because Wicked is always a blast, and it would be. I like honestly, my thing is I would always love to have that tournament. Is so much fun. I want to always have it like these two to expand more because they're always a blast.
Yes, and also sign up to our tournament. So
Yes,
Bighorn GT,
Big Horn, and
June
like
4th and
and
5th.
subscribe, comment, tell us we're shit.
Yes,
But
tell us how.
especially me, but also Joff too.
Oh, hey, come on. Hey, I beat you on this shit
And also
playing this
actually
time,
big
okay?
fucking shout out to my fucking boy Mal Patel. Even though he chumped it up, he did pretty. What did Mal get?
I'm
Mal
trying
Patel
to
got
find him
12th,
now.
12th overall. Chump City. Ugh. I mean, yeah, but like honestly, he had a
Chant
fantastic
City.
time and had a like just he was like
Mal, sports
thanks
rank
to everyone.
28. Were you
Also,
behind me in the sportsmanship? Mal.
hey, Rob
Mal.
was 29th. Rob was 29th.
Drop 29 with sportsman. Whoa, let's
Whoa,
go.
whoa, 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 whoa,
And you were 24th. I smoked in sportsman. Oh, well, heck, wait a second. Ryan got 4th. Kick.
whoa. Let's go, David Sissa, bro. Also, Nash Villains come to Denver.
Yeah.
We'll smoke you again. We'll treat you real nice and it's not on the tables. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace.